Christmas Yule Log is a great alternative for those people that don't like Christmas pudding. And so I'm going to make that for you today. And it literally includes 3 ingredients for the cake, which is caster sugar, cocoa powder and eggs. So I'm going to start by breaking the eggs, all of them, whole into the bowl. I'm also going to add the sugar. So you can whisk it with a hand whisk, but I'm not feeling very strong today, so I'm going to use an electric whisk. As you can see, it's changed in colour, it's still not quite thick enough, so we're going to keep going. So you can see how thick and mousse-like it's become. And the ribbon stage is when you lift up and trail it across the top of the mixture. It leaves a little ribbon, but then it soaks back into the mix. So that is ready. So we're next going to sieve the cocoa powder on the top, so you don't get any lumps. So once that's sieved, you want to fold it in. You don't want to break up any of the air bubbles that you've just whisked. So you sort of do a folding over into the middle with a nice thin metal spoon. Now this could take a while. So we're going to pour the mixture, as you can see it's all been folded in. And we're going to put it into, I've just got a baking tray, I haven't got a Swiss roll tin, so I'm just going to use this. But you do definitely need to grease proof it. So I've just taken a piece of paper, cut out the ends so that it fits. And then I'm going to pour the mixture in. So it's all been poured in, and I'm just going to shake it to the edges. Put it off. And that's going to go into an oven which is 180 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes, but we are going to check it after 15 minutes. So I've just taken it out. You can tell when it's cooked when you press it and it bounces back up again. So to let it cool down, I'm going to literally turn it onto a piece of greaseproof and leave it to cool completely. Like that. So the sponge has cooled down completely, and the reason we put the tin over the top to keep while it cools down is to keep it moist so that when you roll it up it doesn't crack. And then for the filling we've got cream, which is going to be whipped up and layered inside the Swiss roll. And for the outside we're going to make a chocolate fudge buttercream, which is made with dark chocolate, butter and icing sugar. Now I'm going to melt the dark chocolate in the microwave. However, it is really tricky and it can easily overcook and turn grainy. So you need to be really careful. If you're at all unsure, then I suggest you do it the old-fashioned way and do it over the top of a small saucepan with hot water in and just stir it until it melts. Okay, so I'm going to whisk the cream, the double cream, by hand. You can add some Baileys if you want to make it super Christmassy or whatever liqueur you like. Okay, so with double cream you've got to be really careful not to over whip it, but we do want it thick enough so that it doesn't splodge out everywhere when we cut through the Yule log. So that's ready to go. With the chocolate fudge icing, I've softened the butter, it's just been at room temperature for about an hour and a half. And I'm going to cream together the butter and the icing sugar. You just do that by mixing it together, mashing it together, and giving it a good beat once it's all mixed. So although it looks like this mixture's never going to come together, just be patient, it will eventually. So as you can see, it's all come together. Just giving it a little beat to make it light and fluffy. Once that's ready, you want to add the chocolate. You don't want the chocolate to be too hot, so let it cool down a bit first. And then that literally goes into the top with the icing sugar and the butter. And then that needs another good mix. Okay, so there's the chocolate fudge icing, all ready to go as well. So, time to get it all together. Let's take the tin off and peel off the greaseproof paper carefully. Okay, and there is the sponge. I'm just going to trim off the edges to make it nice and uniform, like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put the cream on all the way right up to the edges. No pressure. So just spreading it out with a spatula or a knife if that's what you've got. So then we're going to roll it up, and we're going to do it lengthways because we're going to cut a bit of it once it's rolled. So just squish it in and use the greaseproof paper to pull it over. And there we go. To make it look more like a branch or a log, we're going to cut it on an angle like that. And then we're going to move the long piece onto a serving dish, like that. Then we're going to add the cut piece at an angle. There we go. Then you enjoy the arduous task of icing the whole thing. You really do need some sort of knife or spatula to do this, otherwise it gets really messy. So this is messy, but it's fine. It's all part of the fun. And then you want to get right down to the bottom to try and keep the cake soft underneath. Now you can cover the ends, but actually we quite like being able to see the cream inside, so we're going to leave those open. So once you've iced it all, just clean up any splodges or mistakes you've made with a wet tissue, just to make it look nice and neat. And then what I'm going to do, it's up to you whether you do this or not, I'm just going to go over it with a stick or a cocktail stick or something like that to give it sort of more wood-like appearance. So for the finishing touch, you can just sprinkle a little bit of icing sugar over the top. And if you've got a bit of holly or something that you want to add on top of it, then please do so. Okay. So this has been chilling in the fridge for a couple of hours, and so the icing should have set. I'm going to cut a slice. Look at that, delicious.